Hey, good evening, welcome. My name is Andrew Morlock, and to my left here is the 7th grade band from the 2024-2025 school year. Give them a round of applause. Today is our recognition concert for all the stuff that we've done all year, and I'm so proud to show off these kids one more time before we head on into summer. And so it's been fun, both with 7th grade and 8th grade. This is a time of year where a lot of teachers are winding down, and they seem like they're trying to race to the finish line, and they're limping trying to make it. Obviously, the kids outside, but band directors were different. It's not limping to a finish line; it's trying to land a plane. It's on fire, right? And you know you're going to get there, but you don't know. One of the engines is down, and we have so many things that happen at the end of the year. We got testing, we have incentives. We have all kinds of field day, and so lots of things that disrupt the schedule. But these kids behind me here and then sitting here throughout the whole thing always kept a really good focus on what we were doing and always pushing to be better. And that's what makes my job so much fun. And so today we're going to play a lot of music for you, starting with this piece. This year the marching band went to Disney World. We go every 4 years. And so we had the pleasure to go to Disney World in spring break and play a parade in front of the Magic Kingdom. And I thought, man, I got to do a little bit of Disney in the band room as well. So we have a piece played by 7th grade today and by 8th grade that are Disney. And this first one is one of my favorite, being a 90s kid myself, is from Aladdin, and it is called Arabian Nights. So here we go, Arabian Nights. Honors here. First of all, this year was the year that I had the most students make honor band than ever before. And for those of you that don't know honor band, it is a area-wide band that every district in the area has to audition to be a part of, and the kids meet for one weekend, Martin Luther King weekend, to learn an entire concert in just one day and then perform it. It's the best students in the area on their instrument. Our district is in the same District 13, along with Lakota and Sycamore and Mason and Fairfield and all these very great band programs. And we had over 30 kids make it in the honor band. And so, yeah. So for the seventh grade, I'm going to have them stand up and just wait for everyone to stand up, and we'll give a big round of applause. This is Emma Hoffman on clarinet, Landon Jackson on trombone, Nadia Kesson on percussion. You can just wave your arms so they can see them. Will Moeller on trombone, Aurora Villalobos on clarinet, Riley Wolf on trumpet, Jackson Wright on bari sax, and Sherry Wyatt on flute. Give a round of applause to all of these. Had seventh graders that perform in solo and ensemble, which is another contest where they go and they perform a solo by themselves in front of judges, and they're adjudicated and given a score between 1 and 5, 1 being superior and the highest rating, and 5 being, I've never seen anyone get a 5 ever, but almost every single person got a score of a superior or an excellent, which is amazing. So I'm just going to call on the seventh graders who were in there, and that's going to be Emma Hoffman, Landon Jackson, Nadia Kesson, Ollie Mallory, Lillian Martin, Will Miller, Bradley Pence, Olivia Schubert, and then Cherry Wyatt. Let's give a round of applause to all of them. From seventh grade. One of these times when we get to the end of the year, this is the first time I've ever done music in the parks, and I'll talk about it here in a little bit. In April, we were done with our competition in April. Normally it's in May. And I'm like, I have all this time. What should I do? And of course, the answer is more music. But I thought we could do some fun stuff. So we did Arabian Nights, and the second one that we're going to perform is popular again, which is called Defying Gravity. It's from the musical Wicked, which came out this year, I believe. Or this year that it came out on, the movie came out. Very popular since 2009, but it's kind of come back into the common culture. And so we're very excited to play it for you. Here comes Defying Gravity. chairs here because we're just going to have the 8th grade come up, 7th grade is going to find their different positions. We should be able to do that pretty quickly. So just give us a couple minutes here while we invite 8th grade up to the stage, 7th grade shift to your combined band positions, and we'll be back here in a few minutes. Thank you so much. I think that went very good. Before we get started with the combined program, we have a little treat for you. We have 3 clarinet players that have been taking lessons from Bree Hendricks, who is a Ross grad, and does such a great job helping us out here in the band program still. And these 3 clarinet players have been practicing a trio together. This is Emma Hoffman, Caroline Pate, and the Lobos, 2 7th graders, and Caroline is in 8th grade. And they asked me if they could perform a short trio for you guys at this concert, which of course I said, absolutely you should. So here they are to perform. What's the piece called, lady? It's called Minuet. It's called Minuet, and so I hope that you enjoy these 3 ladies together. You want to catch a tune, you know? Reese, should they get a tune, you know?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, they should. Reese here, by the way, she's right there. Round of applause for Bree. Catch a piece, ladies. All right. Sounds good to me. Away you go. So before we get started, by the way, let's give one big round of applause for the combined 7th and 8th. Well, I'm sorry, the superior rated combined 7th and 8th grade. We competed at Music in the Parks in April, and we got a score of a 95.5 out of 100, which is a very nice score. We got 2nd place, which was incredible, and received a superior rating. But even more, if your student didn't tell you, I told them that if either of the judges, because they record while they're listening to us, they say things. I said, if either one of them says about our march that we played, if you remember our march, I said if they say that it sounded clean, neat, tight, or crisp, if they said one of those 4 words, I would buy everybody donuts. And guys, he said that we played crisp and clean. And so, yes. So the next day when they came in, they got Krispy Kreme for playing crisp and clean. And so I hope you enjoyed that. So that was very nice. Before we get started playing with everybody, I have a couple of an award, a unique award that we're going to hang out for the very first time today. And I'm going to let the young lady who wanted to get the award, she approached me and said, hey, I have this idea for this. And I'll let her explain it. So I'm going to let Kylie Feldkamp come up here. So round of applause for Kylie.
So if you've ever seen Mr. Morlock conduct, you can tell he is very animated on the podium. So whenever he would wear his keys, they would jingle during the whole performance. So to prevent this noise, he asked us to remind him at every performance to take off his keys. And as time went on, I kind of just became the person he gave them to. So tonight, I have the honor of starting a new tradition, the passing of the keys. So tonight, I would like to title the position as Keeper of the Keys and pass it on to Olivia Schubert.
And that was born out of necessity because it was starting to get very egregious when I was conducting a new jingle. So thank you, Kylie, for doing that. And Olivia, I hope you can hold up to the lofty heights of the position. Thank you. So we're going to start playing now. And so I hope you enjoy. We're going to start with a little bit of a chorale so we can get a tune and then I'll talk about the next piece. But thank you for letting us get on this couple of awards. It's definitely nice. So here we go. Correct. My sister-in-law is also a band director. A lot of my friends are also band directors. So we really got a little circle of band directors. We talk about our jobs a lot. My brother-in-law came up to me one day towards Christmas time, and he's like, I found the coolest piece. You'll never believe it. It's so cool. And I'm like, all right, let me hear it. And he plays it for me, and I was like, that piece is really good. He's like, I think I'm going to do that on my next concert. And I was like, me too. And so here we are. So Brian, thank you so much for this piece. It's called Groovy. Anybody that knows me knows that I love to groove. Speaking of the jingling keys. And so this piece is definitely a great thing for every player in the band. It's a little bit of a short repeated pattern, and how it all comes together is what makes the piece really come to life. And so I hope you appreciate this Richard Cicito piece, Groovy. Here we go. You don't know, are you? It's a good piece. So you played really, really well. Good job. So a couple other things before we move on to the 8th grade portion. Every student in here, just for being in band this year, received a couple things from me. Number one, they received a certificate saying that they accomplished all of the 24-25 requirements of being in band, and so that's a great scrapbook thing. Because you want to hold that up so they can see what I'm talking about here. Because somebody hold up their binder. You're going to put it inside the binder. All of them got one of those. The next thing they got is also a little bit more near and dear to me. Because I believe in having a award, not a reward. An award kind of symbolizes the part of your accomplishment that you did. It's not the reward. The reward is the music. This is a award so they have a memory. And that is a wristband. I always give wristbands every year because I believe some kids never take them off. When you put them on. This one says RMS Band 24-25. Every single one of the kids got it. And on the back it says one more time, which is kind of like a thing that I say all the time, which is, if you ever can't do something, one more time is going to save you. But of course it has repeat signs, so that means one more time over and over and over and over again, right? Because they hear me say one more time, and it never means one more time, right? So they got those two things, and then also every member in the band for participating in Music in the Parks got a Music in the Parks. You need another marimba, I've been told. They're in that Brooklyn. Is Brooklyn back there? They're going to get one right now. So what you're saying is, Mr. Morlock, stall, talk more. I think I can do that. Should I give another award? Should I give an award, guys? I was planning on giving this one out a little bit later, but I'm going to give it out right now. So every year I have another award that I give to who I view as the most improved student out of everybody in the band. And this can be anybody. It's generally an 8th grader because I've seen them improve from 2nd grade to 8th grade. This award was born out of the fact that I'm a very animated conductor, and through my career I break a number of batons. Believe it or not, I break batons when I'm conducting. They would shatter, and so I thought that was very symbolic of what my goal is with teaching these kids. Is I try to give them the skills that they don't need me anymore, right? Is that I got mush on it. Oh man, today's gonna be hard, you guys. But they have the skills that once they leave the band room in the middle school, they know how to practice, they know how to get better at stuff, and they don't need Mr. Morlock to say, you should practice right now. Just like that you hope when they leave you, they don't need you to call and be like, have you cleaned your room? How's your shower looking? Is your toilet still there? That kind of stuff. So I hope that they have those skills. And so this goes to a student, I call it the Broken Baton Award. However, this year, guys, I did not break a baton. I'm going to give this person the option of either, let me get it out here, having an actual baton right now, wholly intact, or I could break it on stage in front of everybody. It's their choice, not your choice. Their choice, okay? So I'd like to announce this year's Broken Baton winner is, should I talk a little bit about them? I first met them in 6th grade, and they were playing this instrument, and we're trying very hard to get better at it, and it was something that they kind of were unnoticed, and then they started doing more and more in the background. This person joined a group called the Butler Philharmonic Youth Orchestra this year, and they worked really hard. They took a solo and ensemble. They were in both honor band and honor jazz band, and it's with great pleasure I have to announce this year's winner is Ethan Kimball. Our next song is made popular by The Greatest Showman, which is a musical that came out a few years back. I consider it Panic at the Disco, the musical, is how I kind of view it. But this piece of music was very popular at the time. I love it. Some of the chords in this are just so beautiful. So I think the kids really enjoyed playing it. We have a lot of mallets in the back, which is why they needed that extra marimba to have the awesome out of the part at the beginning. So I hope you enjoy this wonderful piece of music, Million Dreams. Give it up for Tucker Elliott on the drum set over here. We're going to do that, but we're going to trumpet with June Sherwood and Kaylee Klamos. Round of applause for those. So now I'm going to have the entire group stand up one more time so we can give them a really big round of applause before. We're going to do one more short transition as we go from the combined band to 8th grade, so bear with us here for about 2 minutes while we make that change. Thanks so much. Be right back. And here we are. We're back. This is the 8th grade band. Round of applause for the 8th grade band. This is always a bittersweet moment for me, and I'm going to try to keep it short because they know I get emotional very easily. It's been a pleasure teaching these guys. I've had them since 6th grade, some of them since 5th grade in general music, and we've come a long way. So it's interesting as a teacher to be with kids for a really long time and watch them grow up, especially during this period in their lives. And I'm very proud of the people they've grown up into so far. I can't wait to go with them into high school next year. Where can I tell them the show? The show? Can I tell them? In case you didn't know, 8th grade parents, our show next year is based on the Wright brothers and the beginning of flight, and so we're very excited about that. Tentative title is Aerodynamics, and so we're very excited about that. Looking forward to marching band season. But before that, we got to play their final 2 tunes. The first tune that we're going to play for you actually is going to feature Mr. Raymer, the high school director, who did round of applause. It's your big break. So when I came to this district, Mr. Raymer was just the nicest guy and the most down-to-earth person. He'll do anything for you. If you're in trouble, he'll help with questions asked. And that's usually the case during these concerts where he walks in and he goes, "Hey, what do you need?" And I have like a list of 7 things that are random, including this drum set's broken, fix it. He's like, "Okay." And then this piece, I was like, "Hey, will you play the drum set?" He was like, "Absolutely." And so they sit down in place. And so I'm very excited to show off this piece. This is called Disney Around the Band Room. So every single instrument in the band is going to get their own solo song, or solo song. So clarinets get one, flutes get one, alto, everybody gets one. I love that piece because everyone gets a moment in the spotlight, especially some instruments that don't normally get the spotlight, like French horns. I routinely forget about the French horns, Grace, I'm sorry. I never use it. She made me a sign that says, don't forget the French horns, and I forgot to hang it up. But I will hang it up. And also the tubas and the bass clarinet, they get their own little moment too. So I hope that you enjoy this piece of music, our second to last one for this evening, for this concert. It is Disney Around the Bend. I loved that all I had to do was say, hey, everyone work on your part and support each other, and then they did. And they did a really great job. So great job, everybody. We're heading into the last piece, guys. So before we head there, I would like to say some thank yous. Thank you to Dr. Weiss, our superintendent, Chris Saylor, and Tony Albrecht, our principals at the middle school. Thank you so much to the band boosters for everything that they do to support both the band, either with buying stands or getting music or the awards and everything that I ask for. I just show up. I feel like I show up every time. I'm like have like a receipt that I'm like, I need money. And they do such a good job supporting us. So thank you. Please, if you'd like to become a part of the band boosters, you'd be labeled in the program. And also, please come to our meetings. It's the first Tuesday of every month. If you want to come in here, me and Mr. Raymer talk about all the exciting things that we're doing and be a bigger part of the group, we'd love to have you. Thank you so much. Also, a shout out to Ken Smith, who does percussion and drumline and indoor drumline. Raise your hand if you did indoor drumline this year. Either down there or up here. So this is a high school group, and these kids participated in that, which was nice. Casey Allen, Hillary Villalobos, the two elementary teachers that I work with at the intermediate school. I'm incredible musicians and incredible teachers. So thank you. Big round of applause for them. Choir director who works with the kids. I say that all kids in band should also do choir because our first voice is here, and then we use the instrument to kind of translate the tone quality. But you do need to have a good ear, and singing helps for that. And then of course the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Raymer. One more big round of applause for him. Shout out to everybody in the audience. Thank you so much, parents, for coming here and for supporting the concerts, but for also for being there for your kids when they're struggling really hard at home practicing. I've always said this, but practicing an instrument is hard and it's frustrating and it's irritating and it's filled with failure. And I think it's a great place for students to learn how to overcome failure. And we say that mistakes are proof that you're trying. And so I hope that you support them at home when they're making mistakes, especially when they get frustrated. You just remember this phrase, and it'll help you out. It's one more time, right? So please tell them one more time. Thank you. So our last piece, I'm already getting emotional as that. Our last piece, I told them, speaking of one more time, I told the 8th graders, I said, you can pick any piece that you have performed on stage to play one more time. And I let them pick any piece from 6th grade. If you remember Mechanical Monsters was the very first piece that they played up here. That was on there. Even that Go Tell Aunt Rhody used to give them nightmares when I had our very first playing check. But they picked Stay, which was the piece that we played in the winter, which was about suicide prevention and awareness. A lot of the kids just connected to that. And one of the things that I feel like is my job as an educator, especially at the middle school level, is to help guide these kids through this hard time of their lives, which middle school is really hard. And I think this piece of music really connected to a lot of them, and so I appreciate them wanting to do it one more time. I don't know why they wanted to end with a sad piece, but they did, and I told them they could. And so we are here. It's not sad, it is uplifting. It just makes me emotional. I think it makes them emotional too, which causes them to play it so much better. We did not rehearse this. We played through it twice, and then I said, hey, we'll leave it. Mistakes are not what we're worried about here. Music's not meant to be perfect, it's meant to make you feel something. So I hope you enjoy this final piece that this 8th grader is going to perform. Stay. Here we go. This also features Zoe Pellegrino on the piano. tradition that I like to do. Ben, you can sit down for a quick second and, dry your eyes. I have a handkerchief from Clark if you need it. It's an emotional piece, and I think you did a really good job. We have, right after this concert, I would love it if everybody would stay. We have a jazz band here at the middle school, and they're incredible. And if you could give about 15 more minutes of your time, they're playing 2 tunes. One of them, Sesame Street, if that entices you. And the other one is a piece called Frankenstein. Before we do that, though, I have a tradition that I like to do, and you might remember it on the very first concert for 6th grade. I took a selfie of the whole band on the stage. I also do one at the last concert. So here we go. I'm going to take a quick selfie video. So you guys have to cheer really loud, just like, don't cry. No crying, Abby. Stop it. And we're going to cheer just like we do in 5th grade. You guys have to cheer too when I say that.
Thank you so much. And if I don't see you, have a wonderful summer, and we'll see you next year. Take care.